A blessed day everyone, it's me Teacher Lumaban, and if you are new in my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification bell, to be updated in my videos. This time we will discuss Chapter 19, Final Provisions of the Republic Act No. 9520, also known as Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008.
Commit your way to the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Psalm 37 verse 5.
Republic of the Philippines. Congress of the Philippines. Metro Manila. 14th Congress. Second Regular Session. Begun and held in Metro Manila, on Monday, the 28th day of July, 2008. Republic Act No. 9520. An act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled. Section 21. Article 122 is hereby deleted. Articles 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129 and 130 of Chapter 17 on final provisions of this code are amended to read, as follows. Chapter 19. Final Provisions. Article 139. Implementing Rules and Regulations. The authority shall issue rules and regulations to implement those provisions of this code which expressly call for the issuance thereof. This paragraph shall not apply to those cases wherein a specific provision of this code expressly designates particular government agencies which shall issue the regulations called for by any provision of this code. Article 140. Penal Provisions. The following acts or omissions affecting cooperatives are hereby prohibited. 1. The use of the word cooperative by any person or of persons or organizations, unless duly registered as a cooperative under this code except as provided for under Article 130 hereof. In case of violation, the individual or individuals concerned, or in the case of an organization, its officers and directors shall, upon conviction, each suffer the penalty of imprisonment of not less than 2 years nor more than 5 years and a fine not exceeding 20,000 pesos or both at the discretion of the court. The authority may motu proprio, initiate complaints for violations of this provision. 2. Any person who willfully attempts in any manner to evade or defeat tax in violation of the provisions of Articles 60 and 61 of this code shall in addition thereof, be punished by a fine of not less than 30,000 pesos but not more than 100,000 pesos and suffer imprisonment of not less than 2 years but not more than 4 years, provided, that the conviction or acquittal obtained under this article shall not be a bar to the filing of a civil suit for the collection of taxes. 3. Direct or indirect violation or circumvention of the provisions of Articles 60 and 61 of this Code committee by any public official or employee of any bureau, office, or agency of the government that deprives, diminishes or in any manner hinders or restricts any duly registered cooperative from the full enjoyment of the exemption from the payment of the taxes, fees, and charges enumerated therein, shall upon conviction, suffer a penalty of not less than 1 year but not more than 5 years. Imprisonment or a fine in the amount of not less than 5,000 pesos or both at the discretion of the court and shall further be disqualified to hold any other office. 4. Direct or indirect interference or intervention by any public official or employee into the internal affairs of a cooperative of which he is not a member, such as, but not limited to, the following. A. Influencing the election or appointment of officers, directors, committee members, and employees through public or private endorsement or campaign for or against any person or group of persons. B. Requiring prior clearances for any policy or decision within the cooperative. C. Requesting or demanding for the creation of positions or organizational units, or recommending any person for appointment, transfer, or removal from his position, or D. Any other acts inimical or adverse to the autonomy and independence of cooperatives. 5. A director, officer, or committee member who violated the provisions of Article 45 on the liability of directors, officers and committee members, Article 48 on the disloyalty of a director, and Article 49 on the illegal use of confidential information shall upon conviction suffer a fine of not less than 500,000 pesos nor more than 500,000 pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 5 years but not more than 10 years, or both at the court's discretion. 6. The following are considered offenses punishable by a penalty of imprisonment of not less than 1 year nor more than 5 years, or a fine of not more than 50,000 pesos, or both at the discretion of the court. A. Omission or refusal to furnish any information, report, or other document that is required under this code. B. Providing information, reports, or other documents to the authority that are required under this code which the person knows to be false or misleading. C. Omission or refusal to keep a book or register under this code or to make the required entry therein. D. Making an entry required under this code in a book or register, which the person knows to be false or misleading. E. Hindering an authorized person from making an inspection, audit, examination, or investigation required under this code. F. Failure to comply with an order or written instructions issued or given by the authority. G. Violation of the provisions regarding transactions with a restricted party, and H. Abetting, counseling, allowing, authorizing or commanding another person to commit an offense punishable by this code, provided that in case the violator is a cooperative or juridical person, the penalty shall be imposed on its directors and officers. 7. Any violation of any provision of this code for which no penalty is imposed shall be punished by imprisonment of not less than 6 months nor more than 1 year, and a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos, or both at the discretion of the court. In case of violation of any provision of this code, the individual, or individuals, and in the case of organizations or government agencies, its officers and directors shall, upon conviction by a court, each suffer a penalty of not less than 2 years but not more than 5 years imprisonment, or a fine in the amount of not less than 20,000 pesos, or both at the discretion of the court. In the case of a public official or employee, the offender shall upon conviction, suffer the accessory penalty of temporary absolute disqualification. Article 141. Printing and distribution. 1. The National Printing Office shall publish this code in the Official Gazette in full within 60 days from the date of approval thereof. Copies of this code shall be given to every department, agency, and instrumentality of the national government, including regional, provincial offices and local governments, including government-owned and controlled corporations. 2. All duly registered cooperatives and their federations, unions, and associations, and cooperative corporations shall be given 1 copy each at cost. Thereafter, every newly registered cooperative shall be issued at cost a copy of this code and the regulations promulgated thereon together with its certificate of registration. Article 142. Interpretation and construction. In case of doubt as to the meaning of any provision of his code or the regulations issued in pursuance thereof, the same shall be resolved liberally in favor of the cooperatives and their members. Article 143. Repealing clause. Except as expressly provided by this code, Presidential Decree No. 175 and all other laws, or parts thereof, inconsistent with any provision of this code shall be deemed repealed, provided, that the provisions of sections 3, 5, and 7 of Presidential Decree No. 1645, Executive Order No. 623, Series of 2007, Revenue Regulation No. 20/2001, and all laws, decrees, executive orders, implementing rules and regulations, circulars, memorandum orders, letters of instruction, local government ordinances, or parts thereof inconsistent with any of the provisions of this Act are hereby repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. Article 144. Transitory Provisions. 1. All cooperatives registered and confirmed with the authority under Republic Act No. 6938 and Republic Act No. 6939, are hereby deemed registered under this code, and a new certificate of registration shall be issued by the authority, provided, that such cooperative shall submit to the nearest office of the authority a copy of their certificate of registration or certificate of confirmation, the articles of cooperation, their bylaws, and their latest audited financial statement within 1 year from the effectivity of this code, otherwise the shall be deemed cancelled motu proprio. 2. Following the issuance of the new certificate of registration, the registered cooperatives shall secure their certificate of tax exemption from the nearest office of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, provided, that such exemptions shall be valid of 5 years from the date of issue, provided, further, that all unpaid assessments of previously registered cooperative shall be the subject of compromise settlement on terms favorable to such cooperative, and, provided, finally, that the and the authority shall be jointly issue the necessary regulations on this exemption and compromise within 90 days from the effectivity from this code. 3. Registration of electric cooperatives with the authority shall not be considered as a transfer of ownership of its assets and liabilities, nor shall it constitute a change in the nature, structure, and status of the cooperative. Said registration shall not result in the revocation of the condoned loans under Republic Act No. 9136, otherwise known as the Electric Power Industry Reform Act, provided, that electric cooperatives with existing loans shall not be subject to the control and supervisions of its creditors and shall only be limited to the fulfillment of each civil obligations. Article 145. Separability Clause. Should any part of this code be declared unconstitutional, the validity of remaining provision hereof shall remain in full and effect. Article 146. Effectivity Clause. This code shall take effect 15 days from its publication in a newspaper of general circulation.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I hope you learned something on our topic about Chapter 19, Final Provisions of the Republic Act No. 9520, also known as an act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines, to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. If you learned something in this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with your friends to also learn about this topic. If you have comments, questions, and suggestions, you can leave a message in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching my videos, hoping that we meet again in my next blog, and God bless you always.